What an astonishing thing a book is. It's a flat object made from a tree with flexible parts on which are imprinted lots of funny, dark squiggles. But one glance at it, and you're inside the mind of another person, maybe someone dead for thousands of years across the millennia. An author is speaking clearly and silently inside your head, directly to you. Writing is perhaps the greatest of human inventions, binding together people who never knew each other, citizens of distant epochs. Books break the shackles of time. A book is proof that humans are capable of working magic. And that's me, Jeff, doing a bad Carl Sagan impression at the end. And that's a Carl Sagan quote. You're listening to Take No Advice, where we can read quotes like that. A show about writing, and it's a show with a writer.
Hello. Ooh.
Hi.
I turned down my volume here because I couldn't hear very well in the little headphones, and then I couldn't hear myself. And if I don't hear myself, I never know what's going on. Who knows? I could be saying anything right now.
Well, I can tell you that if you can't hear yourself, our listeners can't hear you either.
Well, I did turn down my own little headset here.
Well, that's okay. That's fine.
But
So,
yeah, no.
yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
I said, don't tell me what we're talking about today. Don't tell me, because we didn't have any preview discussion of, hey, what should we talk about?
I let Carl tell you.
I like that. I just this morning had my own little moment. I'm currently bogged down, head thrown into the mix of video and animation editing because I'm working on a book trailer, which may or may not see the light of day depending on how it turns out. I may throw hours and hours and hours at it and then go, eh. Currently, though, it's coming along quite nicely, but it's like frame by frame by frame. Using my undergrad, my video and animation background. Sure. But I tend to, whenever I work on anything, I tend to just sit and not move from my chair. I will forget all life outside of me. My friend, author D. Lieber, just the other day said, "You're really bad at being mortal." And then she tweeted about it. I was like, thanks.
And yet, oddly, you have no choice.
These human bodies are a little hard to take care of. You got to eat, you got to sleep, you know. But I tend to not move. And I just get so engrossed. And so I've been really getting into putting on like Spotify playlists. Not when I write. I don't like music when I write. I usually don't even like it. I like to clear the palette in my head before I write and have like just nothing in there. Because music just kind of carries me along. You know, it leads me places, and I don't want to be led. Not by music that someone else wrote. No offense, it's just that's their art. I don't want their art and my art, you know, doing those little click-clack balls on the desk.
Sure. Yeah.
But when I'm doing something that's just like click, click, 1420 pixels, negative 90, reposition the graphic, click for 188 frames. That is literally what I did for 3 hours this morning. 188 frames repositioning.
Absolutely.
But I threw a bunch of records on, put on the old record player, put on a bunch of Jimmy Buffett, and there's a line in one of my favorite songs, Incommunicado, where he says, when he finishes that last line and he puts the book on the shelf with his heart in it. And I was like, oh, man, that got me. Like, oh, yeah, that is exactly what happens. You just slam the cover shut on your heart and put it back on the shelf and go, I'm still in there. You know, it's such a weird feeling when you read. It just sounds. It's a weird feeling when you read.
You're right. Yeah, you're actually. Yeah, I committed to 150 books this year on Goodreads, which is insane. Yeah. I mean, because I did.
You work at a library. That's not insane at all.
I did 3 last year. So
3 that you tracked. Just 3. I know you were reading a lot. You were talking about books.
I was reading. I was rereading stuff. I was mostly
that's reading.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
150
I guess
new books.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. There's our.
A lot of them are graphic novels because I love the format. So I mean,
those are not short.
No, they're not.
But
you
like
can.
The Bungo Stray Dogs.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, I could read a novel or novella in less time than it takes me to get through one volume of those.
Yeah. I read a lot of like YA and J graphic novels because those are kind of just in my happy place right now because my kids are reading them too. So it gives us something to talk about. So I'm
still holding out on Amulet because
Amulet's wonderful. I love it so much.
When I started reading it, the library that I lived near had to borrow it from other libraries.
Sure.
So I had to have these long waits between
Yeah.
volumes because I wanted to read them in order, obviously.
Of course. You
and
better.
I thought,
yeah.
oh, cool, there's like 4 or 5 of them. And then another one came out, and then another one came out, and then another one came out. And I was like, well, I'm never going to get these except long swaths of dead zone in between. So I stopped, and I'm like, I'll just wait till like 10 of them are ready for me.
There's a solution to that. Do what we do. We bought them. So they're just always in the house. And we reread them all the time.
With Bungo Stray Dogs right now.
Yeah.
They aren't releasing in America as fast as I could read them.
Gotcha.
And
yeah.
it's like, I've got an alert online so that when the next one is due, I pre-order it and I wait a month and a half.
Absolutely.
But, my brain's a sieve some days. It's got enough going juggling balls in there that I'll lose it.
Yeah.
Lose the story. So Amulet was I loved it.
Wonderful.
But
Kazuo Kibuishi is the author. Just wonderful art.
I love the art style.
Oh, yeah.
That's what got me. There was someone tweeted a picture from it. I think it was the actual artist on their account. And someone retweeted it, so it came across my eyes, and I went, "Oh, is that gorgeous?" And then I realized what
He's
it was
good.
from, and then I realized there was a whole series of books.
You should, now that we're digressing a little bit, but it's okay. It's a good. This is what we wanted. Yeah.
The quote you pulled.
Well, and that's what makes me really excited about graphic novels right now.
Took an individual and experience.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah,
geeked out
that's
over
what we
it.
did. Yeah, and so if you enjoyed that, you should check out. I think we have some of them here too, called Flight. That was what Kazuo Kibuishi first did, and it's just a bunch of short stories about people, humans and or other creatures who do not naturally fly, taking flight. Each story is about that, and it's this beautiful collection. The artwork will floor you. So, and again, we're talking about the magic of a book, and I just think right now. I'm a little biased, I guess, because this is just where my interest is, but the power of a graphic novel, because you're not just getting words, you're getting images and you're getting artwork and you're getting traditionally the people who draw them also write are also the story, so occasionally it'll be a panel writer and then an artist, but mostly it's creator controlled content, and there's just some exciting, incredible stuff. And those books just in my hands feel so alive right now. They're exploding, and they literally are. They're exploding with pictures and images and ideas. And I don't know. I would profess controversially that some of the most exciting stuff going on in literature right now is going on in graphic novels. And
I wouldn't say that's controversial so much as just
smart
and groundbreaking. And,
well, I can live with that too.
A logical leap.
I mean, I'm
good with it.
The kids who come in and the occasional adults still say, "Well, that's a comic book." No, it's so much more. But the kids who are coming into it,
based on the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the storytelling that's going on with it, and the part that rips your heart out, stomps on it for a while, then sticks it back in, and then rips it out and stomps on it again, and makes you cry real tears at the theater.
Right.
They're real stories.
It's
They're stories.
As real as the sun. Yep, absolutely.
Anyway,
So there we go. I mean,
Marvel, the modern Iliad.
5,000 years.
Controversy.
5,000 years from now, they're going to be like, and there's this Captain America god who, and there's this Aquaman god, and But it's interesting. An interesting time. Speaking of, I guess we're into kind of the comic book thing. I finally saw Joker, which got a whole bunch, got 11 nominations.
Yeah.
Have you watched this thing yet?
I have not, because I have a trigger limit on things that distress me. I mean, I get that art should be hard.
Yeah. This one is. This one is.
But there's so many things on my plate, so many things that are ahead of it in line that I have to be in a spot that I can, all right, this is silly. La Bamba.
Richie Valens?
I still can't handle that movie. I've never seen more than a minute and a half of it. I have a DVD sitting on my TV stand in my living room in the cellophane that I came in 20 years ago. I still can't bring myself to watch it. I stopped watching Harry Potter at the Goblet of Fire.
Sure.
Because I was like, intensity wise, it got to me, and I was like, I want happier art in my life right now. I never went back to it.
I have to assume you can't watch the Buddy Holly story if you're not watching La Bamba. You can't watch that one's off limits too. Same plane, guy.
Not to limit myself. Yes, I'm literally limiting myself, but I know me.
That's okay.
It's interesting because I've just recently had, as I'm ramping up to the release of MI, I booked a blog tour. And
I know what we're talking about after the break.
booked a blog tour for it, and it was interesting that, content warning for their reviewers, because there are some folks who are reviewing, they know themselves, they know what content they want their blog to have for readers. They've got their branding, I get it. So there were certain things that I thought hard about the story. I went, okay, I don't want to spoil things to folks, because this will show up in their blog for the blog tour recruitment.
Sure.
With info for bloggers to sign up, which means that it's out there in the internet, which means readers can see it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil the book. But at the same token, I do want to be honest with it, and so I had to be very careful with how I worded it.
Well, you got to market. You got to.
Well, I wanted it to be, very honest. There's a couple hard topics in it. I was just thinking the other day, because I was actually reading at a coffee shop one of the research books for that poison book I'm working on.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not writing about nice characters this time. Normally I write about people who, they're broken, they're screwed up, they're, but they're nice people.
Yeah,
they're good people doing the best they can, more or less, across the board quite often. And
now that's an interesting
and I'm not
comment,
doing that
too.
this time. And it's interesting because I was kind of that gateway to not doing that anymore. It's a gray morality with them.
Kind of the connecting tissue.
And it was interesting because my mom, she's very excited about this book. She's I want to read that one. The other one that's coming out after it, not quite my jam. It's we know what we like. We know what we want out of something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm sweating hearing this, going, please don't read this book. It's going to alarm you if you think that this is me. It's that you're putting something of yourself into it, and the reader is interpreting you. Is this you? Is this what the author is like? Is this autobiographical? Is this what's?
That's usually the first place a reader will go right away. Is like, oh,
what made their mind make this?
Right. Interesting.
I'm sorry, I sort of just ran rough.
No, that's good.
He doesn't give me a topic in advance, and I'm like, I can talk.
Well,
this is why I write long stories.
I am definitely going to direct things after the break, because I have got some ideas to some pointed questions for you. So we'll do that after the break. We'll be back. And that's how you come back from a break. We are back on Take No Advice. I don't think I even mentioned the name of the show.
Definitive little oomph there.
That was so tight.
Well, we were so excited about new music.
We absolutely were.
It's 9 degrees out right now while we're doing this. It's 9 degrees. It's sunny. And I'm like, that's sunny music.
Yeah.
I walked in with my Hawaiian shirt. When it gets to the single digits, I break out the Hawaiian shirts.
It didn't bother me much this morning. I had my dogs out at like 5 o'clock, and I was freezing, but I was kind of enjoying it. I felt really alive.
That's my point. Whenever people get all, I love that 73 degrees. And I get it. I understand why 73 degrees is perfect. And maybe as I get older, the older
I don't respond well to perfect.
I'm liking that. But, oh, man, I've always liked the single digits, or when it's like 90s and 100-degree heating index. I'm like, I feel alive. I love that. I just do.
I can't throw any with you with the 91, but I definitely like this a little bit.
Oh, no, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
And, and that's because I'm privileged enough to not have to struggle in this kind of weather.
That is true.
I'm aware of that.
Absolutely.
So I can sit and enjoy it.
My doggies are struggling this morning because they have to do things out in the
There was
snow.
a little snowman in your yard.
Yes.
Did they build that?
The doggies did not.
No?
My twins did.
Okay.
And then when
He's little.
they went out with these grandiose ideas like this is going to be the best snowman ever.
It wasn't a lot of snow.
No.
It was good packing. Well, wait.
Very
for the
packable.
Weekend, right?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! I've sidetracked this.
No, it's
Sorry.
all right. I love talking about my kids' snowmen. So I should also cite that the Carl Sagan quote that I read at the beginning of this story was something posted by MK earlier this week, and it's actually with a pencil sketch by an artist named Chris Riddle. That's actually part of a book. That's what caught my eye. That page is torn right out of a book that just came out like 6 months ago, and it's all quotes about reading and writing and libraries. There's a ton of library quotes in there, and each page looks just like the one you shared, and it's It's a great book. It's when it came in, we all just started jumping up and down, because we're so we love what we do. So
Well, and Professor Elemental, I've talked about him before. Love him. He's gone
Great.
onto Twitter this week. Yesterday morning, he asked for people with library love stories, things that they love about libraries or librarians. So if you find Professor Elemental on Twitter with a story about what you love about libraries or librarians, stories you've got, he's writing a song about that.
Nice. We need
Little
more of
ode to
that.
libraries. I'm like, yes, my interests are aligning.
Oh, we need that. Did you hear in Missouri, Mississippi or Missouri, they're going to now, they're floating a legislation that will have libraries being delegated by parent groups, which is really alarming. I don't think it's going to fly, although, we're...
Huh?
Yeah.
All right, different show.
Yeah, no. I just
Look
want
it up.
I just want people to know.
After you've done listening,
definitely look it up. But I mean, it's something that we need to definitely rail against because it's just full blown a different way of censorship. It is exactly that. So always under attack, and yet what's wonderful is that
from censorship back to free reading,
and libraries always win. That's why I like. I mean, and the longer it takes us, sometimes we're always under attack. But again, librarians are juggernauts. They're very dangerous, powerful people.
Yeah, you're going to go to that quote, aren't you? Right. They're plotting something to take over the world. They have all the information. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So you mentioned just sort of a trigger word for me, trigger in that, hey, we need to talk about that. You said the word
flag went ding.
You said the word blog tour.
Yes.
What does that mean, and what does that entail? What are you doing? Give us the whole breakdown.
All right. Well, I saw your eyebrows reach for the sky.
I have very pronounced eyebrows, like Brezhnev.
MI is launching.
That too. We should.
I think I kind of mentioned it because we've kind of touched upon it, but not in any definitive. Hey, look.
Right.
I hope to have cover art out this or next week for people to see. I'm so excited, but I'm keeping the lid on it.
You mentioned that a little bit too on Facebook, something about cover art. Yes. It caught my attention as well.
Yes. So a blog tour. A lot. I did this when I was traditionally published, and now when I'm self-pubbing this title, it's basically.
That's great too. You had talked about that. I wasn't sure if you were actually taking the leap into that.
Oh, yeah.
You were so. You were never totally definitive on that.
Oh yeah, no. I took this.
You're definitive today.
It's my thing, man.
For those of you keeping score at home, she's definitively.
I bought my ISBNs, and I was so excited.
Nice. So that's cool.
It's like, oh my gosh, I want to take a screenshot and share with it. No, that would be really wrong because you can't reassign ISBNs, and there are nefarious people on the internet.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Wow. That's very true.
And if I blur it out, then there's no point to sharing it. Hey, look, there's some numbers here underneath the blur.
This whole journey, I want to make sure Take No Advice is along for every step of this ride because it's really interesting.
Cool. We have stuff to talk about for the next 3 months.
New season, folks.
So blog tour. I've done it before where I've just either my publisher has lined up a service or I actually on my own for my last book, even though it was through Skylar, I found a service.
Are you at liberty to mention it or no?
I'm not sure, so I'm going to not.
Okay.
It's going to be obvious if people Google me what I've used. So, I mean, I don't want to not give them props. They've been a great service to use, but I'm not sure exactly how that line advance should go as far as getting to them.
Sure.
They're really nice to work with. You book a spot weeks in advance, and you can choose different services. It's basically a promotional service tool. But what you do is last time I did a whole bunch of mixed content where I provided original content, and I think it was a 7-day tour. I don't think it was 10. And then up to 3 bloggers per day. They would host my original content based on a topic of either their or my choosing, or a review of the title that was releasing. And since I wasn't really on the spot because I wasn't sure I needed the blog tour last time, it actually happened about a month after the book released. So Kith Seeker's blog tour was like September or something. And I was like, it didn't matter because it was just a lot of content being generated. Here's a lot of buzz about this book. Everyone's talking about this book at once. And it was kind of a little booster shot in the arm for a book title that was releasing. And it's very, very customary that you can do for this particular service, and I'm not going to use them for that, but you can do things like cover launch stuff where they have people who host the cover art and then maybe ask you a few questions about the story or your process or whatnot. And I'm not doing that for this one because I'm doing my own cover launch stuff.
Can I inquire as to, did you do the cover yourself?
No.
Okay.
No, I hired the artist who did the Bookminder covers.
Oh, right on. Good.
Yeah,
Sure.
I really love working
Yeah,
with her.
yeah.
No, and so I mean, I'm so beyond excited to share it, but I have to wait.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
being-
you're your
being
own.
proper.
I mean, when you're a writer, you're already your own business, but you are like doubly so now. You're your own conglomerate. I mean,
Well,
you're
I mean,
the.
for example, I mean, it's sitting there. I could hit, post
Oh.
on Facebook to my friends.
Sure.
But I was like, because I haven't. She hasn't invoiced me yet.
Right.
She's gonna invoice me this week, and I'll pay
Absolutely.
her, and then I can do that.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So it's that little edge of
Yeah.
a little bit of
Well,
she hasn't released
a little
it to me
business
yet.
prudence helps. I think
But she hasn't released it to me yet.
Yeah.
That would just I don't want to say the word illegal, but it would be certainly
Well,
nice.
improper. Yeah,
It would be improper,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so I'm holding on, but in the
Yeah.
meantime, I'm working on the graphics for a potential book trailer.
Oh yeah, right. Like you mentioned. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's been fun. That was yesterday's task. I basically, and then I went through about 700 fonts for title, not title stuff. The title's part of the design. Actually.
Sure. Yeah.
But for like my name and little
Yeah.
incidental notes, the back blurb,
Yeah.
fonts.
Do you have an actual launch date set yet for Emma? I mean,
I do.
Can you say that? I mean, again,
I do. I
I'm
would love
treading
to say it,
I'm
and
treading
I'm
so
going-
carefully here because I don't want
I'm
to.
looking at my phone like one arm length away, going, "It's in my phone," and
Use-
I don't know the
Use
date
the force.
offhand.
Oh, you can always if you. Well, okay. This is. By the way, we have a used bookstore here at Cedar Brook Public Library. It's called Buy the Book. So come on. I took that moment to actually talk about the only bookstore in Ozaukee County is Buy the Book in our
Right.
breezeway. So there we go. Go ahead.
All right, so the title is not actually live yet.
That's okay. I'm just fishing for a date here.
It's not live. It's not listed. I haven't assigned an ISBN to it yet. Again, because I don't even have the full draft out of developmental edits.
Sure,
so,
sure.
That'll be next week's task.
Yeah.
I've got so many little irons in the fire right now.
Yeah.
I actually have a full 2020
Right.
week by week, day by day calendar from now and through December of all the things I have to do, and it's color coded. And I think I
Nice.
mentioned that last time I was here.
Well, I'm glad you're bringing
May
all
the
this up.
5th.
May the 5th. It's going for a little Star Wars action there. Good. May the 5th be with you. So may the 5th be with you. It sounds like I get hard
Well,
to say
you need
without
to do it Tuesday,
There you
and it's
go.
actually right after Consinity, which I'll be at in Milwaukee. At least
Oh,
I
there
hope
we
to
go.
be.
There we go.
Well, I suppose if I'm not vending, I'm going to go anyway. 'Cause
Okay.
I've got my steampunk Doctor Who outfit that I really want to wear again.
Any
It's
opportunity?
their 20th anniversary, so.
Going from Honolulu to Gallifrey. That's what she does.
The Doctor's been known to wear a Hawaiian shirt from time to time.
Absolutely. So May the 5th of 2020. That's that is great. I'm glad you're bringing all this up because you talk about your color coded calendar because you have so many people. I happen to encounter them too who say, I think self publishing is the way to go because it's just and I'm like, no, I think. It's a whole. I mean, yeah, you could just push publish at any time. I mean, hey, it's a PDF. I'm good to go, or an EPUB, whatever. Fine, but if you want to do it, it's okay. That I think that you're treating this almost as a traditional publication.
Well, I am essentially doing the traditional publishing route without a publisher
Yes.
in there.
Which is logical.
I'm hiring the people they would hire, not
Yep.
necessarily literally the people they would
Yeah.
hire. Although the line editor I hope to use, I've talked with her,
Yeah.
is someone who my publisher has used.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people are freelance.
Sure.
They
Oh, absolutely.
They're commission based, freelance based, whatever.
After 5 o'clock, they will, they
A lot
get
of
busy.
they do it on the side
Yeah.
from other things.
Yeah.
Again, I knew that I love working with this cover artist. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so I kind of had my little dream team picked out.
Nice.
And I mean, my audiobook narrator
Yeah.
that I've worked with for the others.
Sure.
I haven't asked him to work on this one yet because I actually years ago had in mind who I wanted to work with on this because this voice actress's voice is exactly what I have in my head. When
Aha.
I think when I read MI, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
she's already reading it to me.
Excellent.
So this gentleman I've talked to for my next book, which is still up in the air, technically due to wrinkles.
Well, clearly with your color-coded calendar, you'll be plenty busy, so it's okay that
Yes,
your next book
yes,
is technically
yes.
up in the air.
Well, I
so.
have a launch date for that, but right now there's
Yeah.
a thing in the way that I have to manage and handle.
Absolutely.
Which, again, speaking in couch terms for that one because of what it is.
Right. So,
And the nature of the wrinkle.
looking virtually, since we don't have a copy of that calendar here, and we're kind of wrapping the show up here. What does the remaining days of this week look like for you? And what's being kind of closed? What tasks are being closed out? Do you know offhand until we meet next Tuesday? I'm just curious what we can do for not accountability, but I'm just curious.
Just checking my email every 30 seconds.
Oh,
I've become that.
we all do
person.
that.
Right.
That's on all of
but
our calendars.
It's like I have enough little things, feelers out there, enough business going on with other folks.
Sure.
I've got to finish off the work with the cover artist. That's been this week's back and forth emails.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, maybe today I'll have an invoice that I can pay, and then I can just with the cover art.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't know. I mean, not to rush her. She's got her own stuff, and it's not all my
got her own color-coded calendar.
Exactly. So hopefully I can get that going. Hopefully I can really put together more of the guts of my little book trailer.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, it's like I'm going to spend 3 days, hours and hours, waking morning till night on like a 30-second book trailer.
No, that's
but,
normal. I don't think
it takes a while,
especially
when you do frame
Rendering.
by frame, depending on what you're doing.
Sure.
It's the kind of thing you want it to look effortless and polished, which is really hard.
Yeah,
I'm not just slapping together a few clips,
No,
throwing
no,
some
no.
text over it and calling it a day.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing compositing.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
boy.
I love that. I have that background, and it's kind of fun to have that back.
All right.
I've got a website redesign going on with a gentleman that I met years back who's fantastic. And so we've been back and forthing a little.
Excellent.
So maybe next week I'll have a website or a redesigned website live. One that isn't hard coded by me using like 90s website techniques. I like that look. It's an aesthetic that I like, but it needs.
It's not GeoCities. I want that.
Exactly. It's as close to Geos as you can get without that animated background and flashing text.
Oh! What's this? Wait! There it is. We were waiting for that. So I'm trying to use the dramatic thing. So that's the virtual. That's the electric guitar hook for us.
Irons in the fire.
Absolutely, busy. All right. Well, we're looking forward to checking with you next week at this time because it was exciting. I'm interested. Tune in next time to take no advice. We may even dole out some advice. Till then. Take No Advice is produced at CPL Radio Studios in conjunction with the Cedarburg Public Library in Cedarburg, Wisconsin.